Hey guys, and welcome to episode 7 of reading South African celebrity birth charts without any pre-context. So, in honor of Cancer season, we're gonna do one of my favorite South African celebrities, Lasizwe. Yay! So let's go straight into it. So, according to Wikipedia, Lasizwe was born on the 19th of July 1998, making him a 26 degrees Cancer sun. Now, we don't know what time he's born, so Lasizwe, if you're watching this, please drop your time of birth so we can know whether or not you're a Taurus moon or a Gemini moon. But something tells me you're actually a Gemini moon, because if you are a Taurus moons are very reserved people, and they don't really like to put themselves out there, especially not in the way that Lasizwe has put himself out there, so it's giving Gemini moon. Like, he's definitely giving Gemini moon. But anyway, so the first major aspect that I saw reading his birth chart was his Venus is in Gemini and it's squaring his Jupiter in Pisces. Now, mind you, as I said in my previous video, squares are the not nice aspects that we have in our birth chart. So that will be the energies that have a hard time working together. So there's friction. So he has friction in the way that he expresses his love language, and the way that he receives love, and the way that he gives love, and that's in conflict with his morals. It's in conflict with his belief system, and it's in conflict with the way that he chooses to experience life and the approach that he has in experiencing life overall. Now, what do I mean by this, right? So people with the Jupiter in Pisces are usually people who approach situations with an open heart, very intuitive. Also, he's a Cancer sun, and his Cancer sun is trining his Jupiter in Pisces, right? So your sun is your vitality, your actions, how you go about acting in your life, and the way that you approach situations, But Jupiter is the overall reason as to why you're doing things, like your purpose as to why you're going about doing things. So his actions and his purpose are what they're aligned, because they're both in water signs, and we know water signs are dealing with intuition, emotions, feelings, and the emotional undercurrents that we all experience. So basically the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So all of that is in conflict with his love language. So he's a Venus in Gemini. Venus and Gemini people, as we all know, they have a love and appreciation for communicating with different people of all different races, genre. Oh, not I don't, maybe races. I don't really know what Lasizwe is into, but like different races, genres, just different vibes of people. Like, as long as somebody has information or a conversation to present to Lasizwe, he's gonna appreciate that, because Gemini is all about communication. So people with Venus and Gemini have a love and appreciation for communication, for being around friends, and for mental stimulation. Now, obviously, all of that is in conflict with his sensitive, watery sides. Water and air don't really correspond. They don't really fit in with each other. So the conflict begins here, especially in his love language. The conflict begins with his love language, right, and his morals. So the way that he wants to approach love is in a very light-hearted way, so aka the honeymoon stages of a relationship, right? And mind you, anything aspecting Jupiter, because Jupiter is all about expansion, and Jupiter, wherever Jupiter is at, is going to make that part of your life big. It's going to give you more of those experiences, right? So that leads to overindulging, and that leads to excessive intake of something. So the first conflict that Lasizwe experiences in his love language is being overly obsessed with somebody when they are first communicating. So he loves the honeymoon stages of a relationship. He loves like the passion and the emotional connection that happens in the beginning of a relationship. The problem comes when those rose-colored glasses fall off, and then the reality of a situation presents itself. That's when the issue presents itself, and that's where his relationships can come to take a very hectic turn. Because mind you, Gemini and Pisces are mutable signs, meaning they're changeable. Okay, they're fickle, they're adaptable, meaning that they can shift and fit into any space. So in the beginning of a relationship, it's very easy for him to mold himself into like whatever his partner wants him to be, or to just really to just really show whatever his partner wants to see. The problem comes when reality hits and responsibilities come into play, where now Lasizwe has to take on, his responsibility of things, and his partners have expectation over what he what they think Lasizwe should do. That's when the issues start. Because now his moon in Gemini is gonna, because his moon in Gemini opposes Pluto. Anyone with moon opposed Pluto has severe abandonment issues and trust issues. And correlating with this, his love language and, opening up to people. As soon as the reality of things hits, that's when these trust issues start to spark. And then he starts to feel like people are only in a relationship with him for other alternative motives. And then the panic starts. And then guess what happens? Then he starts to push people away, or he starts to act wishy-washy, right? But that's also because of the Venus in Gemini, because we know Gemini placements they're just like all over, and it takes them a while to really want to commit into a routine, because Gemini is squaring the 6th house of Virgo, which is the house of routines, which is the house of doing things on a daily basis and having responsibility. So Gemini placements all over, whatever Gemini placement you have, like, it's going to be really difficult for you to cultivate a steady routine that you follow every day, which is, one of the issues that he would have in his relationships is maintaining that routine, because he only wants to live in the honeymoon stages. And the things with that is, it's not realistic all the time. The problem with only wanting a honeymoon stage in a relationship is that you don't really allow people to be realistic, because I think with him, it's a thing of, he wants to live a fairy tale. And a lot of the times, like, you can only live a fairy tale for so long, until you have to face the reality of somebody, and then after you face that reality, you guys can continue to, like, build off of a more realistic fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? But I think on Lasizwe's end, especially with this Venus squaring Jupiter, he has a really hard time grasping that. So this is where the Gemini Venus serial dating comes into play, where he'll drop one person, step into another relationship, drop one person, that person step into another relationship, just because he enjoys the thrill of the honeymoon. He enjoys the thrill of possibilities, because also, mind you, Pisces and Gemini placements are all, they're idealistic signs, so if something doesn't fit into their idealism, then they want to escape from that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first major interesting aspect. Also, for the reason why he's into, like, the entertainment industry, and the reason why he's really good in, like, making funny videos, is because he has a Leo Mercury, and we know Leo is all about expression, having fun. Like, any Leo person, like, think of any Leo person, they're always loud, they're always, like, expressive, the life of the party, loves attention, etc., etc. So that's in his communication style. So he has a very goofy, fun, childlike, attention-seeking expression, communication style, and also because Gemini, we know Gemini is, like, a very talkative, expressive sign. So, and these are very childish, like, signs, so if you place them together, we have somebody who's a very goofy, expressive, childlike person, very fun to be around, basically. But because he's a Cancer, like, obviously he's a Cancer, so he still has that nurturing, soft, sensitive side, But I've seen just water sign men have a very different way of handling their emotions as opposed to women who have a water sun sign. I find that water sun sign men are definitely a lot more feminine, or they're a lot more in tune with their feminine energy. But if they don't have, like, an example of how to maintain and handle their femininity, they can be the most horrible, toxic, emotionally manipulative people, like, you will ever meet, especially Cancer sun signs, especially Cancer sun men. So I think Lasizwe's toxic trait, obviously I don't know Lasizwe like that, but I'm just reading his birth chart. So I think Lasizwe's toxic trait is that he can be very emotionally manipulative, and if he doesn't get what he wants, he's gonna throw either a bitch fit at you, but it could either be that, but he's a Gemini moon, and I feel like if it's not that, then he's probably just gonna go ghost, but yeah, that's it. Also, another aspect that made me really interested in his chart was because he has a Mars in Cancer, and I found a lot of people with a Mars in Cancer, especially because he has his moon opposing, moon is the relationship that you have with your mother, or relationship that you have with women, but mother, because that's the first relationship that you have with a woman. He has this opposing Pluto is such an aggressive, transformative planet. So having a Mars in Cancer, people with Mars in Cancers really either lose their moms earlier in life, or their moms just are completely like they abandon them early on in life, but there's always some kind of mother issues, and this is so like thematic with the Mars and Cancer, because Mars is in its detriment in Cancer, but also I think Lasizwe is one of those people that really he does have trust issues, and like the way that he hides it is by being really goofy and funny, hiding behind the smile and the humor and stuff, but we appreciate him for his humor and for that. Anyway, guys, if you would like a birth chart reading from me, hit me up. We'll discuss a price and a date for your reading, because readings are not free. Lasizwe, I love you so much. I love your videos. Happy almost birthday, baby. Mwah!